Hello, this is Maximus, and I'm going to be casting a battle, multiplayer battle, or a series of battles between IDE Hit Girl, which is the host and the initiator of the Hit tournament, which is a pretty cool tournament going on at the moment, where there is a mirror faction setup, so each player gets to take turns picking a faction, and the other player mirrors that faction. And I think that makes the game a lot more about skill than if you can counter pick. Obviously, some factions are stronger than others, so with this type of setup, it's more about player skill. And of course, you still have to understand the metagame and have to essentially counter your own faction with your own faction, so you have to know its strengths and its weaknesses. But it makes the game more about strategy, more about actual gameplay, more about micromanagement. So it's pretty good. He's playing against envotw, and I don't know anything about that player. I have played Hit Girl a bit. So the way it works is that the player 1 bans faction they don't want to play against, and they pick a faction, and then the other player next turn they get to ban faction they don't want to play against as well, and then they pick a faction, and then the banning is over. And if it's a best of 5, so if there's a tiebreaker, if the score is 2-2, then it will be a matchup between Egypt and Egypt. Egypt is banned from the tournament before the tiebreaker. I don't know why I chose to do that, but I guess it's because everyone is tired of watching Egypt in multiplayer, and because Egypt is... Oh, there you go. So, Evo TV is banning Egypt, which is already banned, so... Nice one. But yeah, so there wasn't really a point in doing that. I'm sure Hit Girl will let him know. And the rules are max 6 of the same, max 8 cavalry, melee cavalry, shock cavalry, elephants and chariots are in that limit. So Seleucids are banned from Hit Girl, no Egypt and no Seleucids. Good bans because they are extremely powerful in this patch 7. And there are max 6 skirmishing cavalry, and interestingly enough, it is the you can only pick one elephant or one chariot, because in this patch there are some strange things going on with elephants and chariots. They can wreck everything, even from the front. They don't stop as easily as they did before. They knock down a lot more men, and the scythe chariots of Pontus, Egypt, and the Seleucids, they have the same mass as the Indian armored elephants. So in CA's magical world, poor ponies, a wooden frame, and the guy on top weighs the same as an Indian elephant with armor, with a howdah and 2 guys on top. So don't know how that works in the real world, but in the CA world it does. So historically, scythe chariots weren't really monsters. Like, they didn't really roll over everything. Like at the Battle of Gaugamela, they had to prepare the ground to even be able to use the chariots, and when the chariots were deployed, Alexander's lines basically just kited back and let them come into the lines, and then they destroyed the chariots. And I don't know of a single historical battle where scythe chariots played a major role. Now, before that, with the Hittites and the Egyptians, then heavy chariots and light chariots for the Egyptians were used to great effect. However, they weren't used to ride down massed infantry formations or to attack cavalry. they were mostly used as skirmishers. And the same with the Britain chariots. They were basically used as taxis, getting warriors from A to B and then retreating. There hasn't been a case of those chariots being used to charge heavy infantry formations, because that wouldn't work too well with that wouldn't work too well against a tightly packed infantry formation. You're basically standing on a small light wooden frame. And the reason why they used chariots a lot was actually that they had very small horses, and they didn't have saddles, so the horses couldn't be ridden very effectively into battle. But if you put 2 to 4 smaller horses to a wooden frame like a cart and then put wheels on, then they could be somewhat effective, and they could serve as a mobile fire platform. However, riding straight into thick infantry formations or spears or cavalry really didn't happen a lot. The horses wouldn't do it, and the guy's self-preservation instinct prevented things like that from happening. It wouldn't be effective either. It could be effective if the enemy got scared and turned and ran, because then they would be a lot easier to just run down. But men standing bracing in tightly packed formations would not have been a target for chariots at all. It's kind of the same with elephants, that they did the most casualties and the most damage if there was the fear factor was there, if people were turning their backs and running and already moving and then got trampled over. So they are just going over the rules. Max out 1 elephant, 1 chariot, the most important one, obviously. And especially for Pontus here, if a player suddenly brought like four chariots, then it would be a bad time for the other player. And of course it would break the rules, so it would have to rehost or request a rehost within 2 minutes. So these battles, it takes a little while before they get going, because they have to go through the banning process and so on. But they have picked their factions, and now they're just choosing units. So some of the main changes in patch 7 are that all the units that previously had formation attack can turn off formation attack, which is pretty huge. It makes all the units that previously had discipline and formation attack a lot more effective for no additional cost, because they are able to get more men into the fight. Barbarians overall are worse. They got a new change for their what's called shock infantry, painted one, berserkers, and naked warriors. They got a bonus on bonus against infantry of +20. That's hidden in the data files. So they got better against infantry, and they got better on the charge, got a higher movement rate, but they got 0 armor, so they die really easily to any kind of skirmishers. And skirmishers have more damage. Archers have 150 range for the better archers. Some are still at 125. Archers have a heavy shot now as well, mostly the elite archers, which means that they will be able to deal with armor a lot easier. But most of the infantry has more hit points than they previously had. But still, skirmishers are potentially more deadly. But against Roman infantry and hoplites from the front, it can be very difficult to get kills with them, because they block around 50% of the missile hits. But from the side, from the right hand side and from the back, skirmishers are extremely deadly. Cavalry has more hit points as well, on the whole. So you have cataphracts with 125 hit points, for example, and most shock cavalry is above 100 hit points, I think. But their shields are pretty, well, for shock cavalry shields are non-existent, but most cavalry shields block only about 10% of incoming missiles, so they're pretty bad in that regard. And the changes to the elephants and the chariots, they aren't really visible from the patch notes, but elephants and chariots have increased mass. They have increased the ability to push through formations in a quite ridiculous way. Like now you can charge pikes head on. And pikes got a major overhaul. They are in a looser formation, they move better and more responsive, but they have fewer pikes from the front. So they can be defeated from the front by quite a lot of units now, which makes them of questionable use. So now they are readying up here. And good luck having funning each other. That's nice about tournament games, is you usually meet more polite sportsman-like players than you do in quick battles. The map is envotw, which is grassland. And it looks like we are ready to go here. Here we go. This is Maximus with a live commentary of the battle in the hit tournament between IDE Hit Girl and envotw. The reason why you are seeing two Pontus icons is because this is a mirror faction tournament, with mirror factions being used for all the games, which is quite fun. Elephants and chariots are have a 1 unit limit. This will be a best of 5, so we might have 3 games if the games go 3-0 to one of the players, and we might have 5 games if the score becomes 2-2 and there's a tiebreaker. Egypt versus Egypt will be used for the tiebreaker, since everybody's tired of watching Egypt in multiplayer at the moment. Now they are deploying, so I'm just going to remove the when we are getting the connection here, I'm just going to remove myself from looking at their deployment and stuff. There we go. So I'm going to toggle the radar off. So look at this nice red line here, magical red line. So red line camping is forbidden as well as any unsportsmanlike behavior. Red line camping is where you put your army near the red line so you can't be flanked, or it's easier to protect the flanks and the rear. Which you see a lot of it in quick battles, but it's a lot rarer in tournament battles because it's usually illegal. And both players are the attacker here, which is also a nice rule in the tournament. So both players have to continually try to attack with at least 1 unit. So if you're trying to skirmish with a single unit, then that's fine. If you're boxing up and standing there waiting for your opponent to come to you, that's not fine. You have to actively be attacking at all times. Let's see here if they are starting to ready up. Like I said earlier, having mirror factions makes the game... The metagame is still there, but it makes the game more about skill. And in this patch it makes the game a lot about who forgot to turn off formation attack or not. It would be quite funny if one of them forgets to turn off formation attack and the other does, with the exact same units, and you'll see just the units without formation attack absolutely destroying the units that have formation attack turned on. And it's very easy to see that from the engagement, which units have it on and which have it off. So Hit Girl is ready here, and we are waiting for envotw. And we are good to go. Yeah, good luck, have fun each other. I'll go over the builds. On Hit Girl side, we have Pontic Swords and Mercenary Celtic Warriors on the flanks. We have 4 Pontic Royal Cavalry, backed up by 4 Mercenary Scythian Horse Archers. We have Pontic Royal Cavalry for the general, Eastern Slingers in the center, a unit of Scythe Chariots, and we have hoplites. And for envotw, I think he made a mistake here by picking bronze shield pikes. They are crap now. He has 3 Pontic Royal Cavalry. He has what looks like 2 Eastern Archers, 4 Eastern Slingers, 4 Bronze Shields, backed up by Pontic Swords. So build-wise, I'm definitely giving the edge to Hit Girl here. Hoplites are the superior choice in patch 7 over Pikeman. And by his setup, I think it will be very difficult for envotw to defend himself well here. And if he doesn't have anything hidden, which is unlikely on this map, then he doesn't have a chariot. And Hit Girl's chariot will be able to absolutely wreck everything it comes in contact with of envotw's infantry and his skirmishers. He put some veterancy on his bronze shields. He's using them like you would in previous patches if you wanted to cover a lot of ground, which is 2 lines deep, 3 at the center. However, not the best way of doing it now, and we'll probably be able to see why once this engagement starts. So overall, I'm not liking envotw's army, and I'm not liking his the way he has deployed his pikes. It looks like he hasn't played a lot of patch 7 games, which I'm sure Hit Girl is quite happy with. He was telling me he didn't have too much experience with the patch himself, but at least he he knew to bring a chariot and to take out pikes. So here he is getting surrounded a bit and not really attacking effectively, but he might start skirmishing with his slingers here, and it looks like Evo is sending out some Pontic Royal Cavalry to chase away these horse archers for a bit. And now let's see if we can see the destructive potential of the chariots rolling in here. He might just roll straight through here, through the front. He managed to get the cavalry away. This was a huge mistake by envotw. Now these chariots will go unchecked, and he will be able to roll through anything he makes contact with here. I don't know why he's using flaming shot on the chariots. Maybe it was just on, but it's not possible to make them run amok. Chariots are running through pikes here, but Hit Girl made a mistake by charging the chariots up this hill and not continuing to move them. But still, as you can see, chariots are extremely easy to use now. Only lost the chariot, and now he's able to take out the entire flank and move in with the units here. And the chariots already have close to 100 kills. He lost 2 chariots, so it wasn't very effective use of chariots by Hit Girl here. But still, you got to see some of their potential, and here he's moving in with Pontic Royal Cavalry, trying to move in here to take out these skirmishers. The chariots are coming back through the Pontic Swordsmen, and this is what you want to do. You want to attack them in the flank and just keep the chariots moving. The chariots need quite a bit of micromanagement. If you micromanage them well, they will be able to get a whole lot of kills. As you can see here, they have 120 kills already, so already they are very cost effective, and it allows Hit Girl to move in with his other units here. But the chariots are almost dead now, and Hit Girl is going to lose his general. Hit Girl is a guy, by the way. So overall, it's not looking as good for Hit Girl as it did to begin with. Some engagements going over here, but they are both getting charges off. Over here, envotw is getting off the best charges. In the center, Hit Girl's general is dead, but he's moving in with these hoplites, and he still has a lot of skirmishers left. So overall, I'm still giving the edge to Hit Girl. He's now chasing, envotw is chasing horse archers with bronze shield pikes instead of supporting this fight, which is a huge mistake. Still firing with flaming shots is envotw. I have no idea why he's doing that. It's a terrible idea, instead of just using regular arrows and getting some kills. So now envotw's units are wavering all over the map here, and he will lose these pikemen. They're just getting kited by horse archers. Hit Girl is in no hurry to engage these pikes. He could probably engage them in 2 lines frontally and just win, but he's moving around, and now he's going to charge straight in. And look at this, he's charging straight into pikes, a single line of pikes, and they really don't care. Straight through the pikes and poking the pikemen with sticks straight in their faces. So the pikemen lost 10 guys on the charge by being charged frontally in a thin spaghetti formation. So the spaghetti formation doesn't really work. Now the Pontic army of envotw is just folding here. There's really not a lot he can do, and there wasn't a lot he could do with that build. He could have stopped the chariot more effectively. The chariot wasn't used to its full potential, however, but still got some nice kills. He's attacking these. envotw is attacking these Eastern Slingers with his spikes, but it's not enough, obviously. So this is a GG. In patch 7, if you bring pikes to a sword fight and a spear fight, you're going to have a bad time. They're just not worth it. And the same with flaming arrows. I don't know why he had them on. You want flaming arrows to make elephants run amok, and you want flaming arrows to reduce the morale of your enemy if they are on the verge of breaking, but firing at the front of fresh units who haven't gotten any casualties with flaming shot is just not effective. So GGing each other. This was actually a pretty good illustration of the changes that patch 7 have done to the metagame. Hit Girl killed 1153 and lost 401 guys. Chariot only got 154 kills, which is not that good, but as you can see, most of his Pontic army here of envotw really didn't do much. It's quite nice to see mercenary Celtic warriors with 100 kills. That's not often that you see that. So now they're going to pick their next factions. Let's see what they choose here. So I think it's Hit Girl's turn to pick the faction they're going to play. So that battle illustrated the differences between the playstyles that could have worked in patch 6 versus what could have worked in which against what works in patch 7. let's see what they're choosing here. Now we will see Rome against Rome. So I really hope envotw turns off formation attack for this battle. If not, we will have a replay of the first battle. Would be interesting to see. Both players should bring an elephant for obvious reasons. However, what's interesting about the infantry of Rome now is that units like armored legionnaires with formation attack turned off are just ridiculously cost effective. So you're getting 60 plus attack and 40 weapon damage, 8 armor penetration, 85 armor. You're getting that for 710 denarii. It's just ridiculously cheap, and even against missiles you're getting a 50% block chance in, and you're getting the armor to block the damage. So Rome can be pretty crazy if you turn on formation attack. If you don't turn on formation attack, Rome is basically have the same problems that they had before. They can't really take on the elite swords of the barbarians 1-against-1, but against Rome, I mean, then you will just have the 2 units standing and taking a whole lot of time to kill each other. In a mirror match of Rome against Rome, I think it's a good idea under these rules. Take an elephant, take a minimal amount of cavalry, take armored legionnaires. I think Praetorians, they are good. I think armored legionnaires are more cost effective, so I'd like to see more armored legionnaires than Praetorian Guard. Evocati cohort is also quite good. They have 75 armor and the same stats as the armored legionnaires, but they have slightly less armor, and overall they're very cost effective as well. And more importantly, they aren't elite units, so if there's an elite unit cap on a tournament, then you can still bring Evocati and armored legionnaires. A bit spammy, but under the current rules you can. And Rome needs something to combat the chariots, and they have the worst elephants as well. So let's see here. They are ready. Good luck having funning each other like good e-sportsmen, which is always nice. So here we go, Rome versus Rome. Civil War. It's still the Hit tournament. I'm still Maximus, and we are still watching Hit Girl and envotw play. Hit Girl won against Pontus against Pontus matchup in the first battle, so the score is 1-0 in favor of Hit Girl. And this is the second game in the best of 5, where the players picked Rome to go up against Rome. So yep, here we can see the armies. I'm just going have a look at the nice red line here, the magical red line that defined the boundaries of old ancient battlefields. There was a rule that if you passed this red line, then you couldn't be killed. So yeah, it would be kind of nice if there was if the battlefields were a bit larger, but it would be hell to like run away from skirmishers and kite and stuff. And as you can see from the balance of power, there is a slight discrepancy here. One of the players brought more units than the other, so we'll see how that factors in. Rome against Rome should be quite simple matchup. Looks like they are ready. Game 2 about to go underway. And one player pressed ready, and the second player pressed ready, so let's go over the builds here. Hit Girl has Armored Legionnaires and Praetorian Guard for his infantry. He has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Praetorian Guard, 2 Armored Legionnaires backed up by Soki Equites, flanked by Soki Equites and auxiliary African elephants. Boxed in here are some auxiliary Assyrian archers. For envotw we have Armored Legionnaires and Praetorian Guard, so it looks like he has the same idea. However, keep in mind that Hit Girl's formation is more stretched out than envotw's formation, which means that he will be able to get more men in on the charge. They both brought an elephant, which is nice. The cavalry edge goes to envotw, but he did something strange here. He brought Vigilates. The only job Vigilates have is to die really quickly, so I don't quite understand that, why he didn't bring Gladiator Spearmen, for example, or just Triarii, if that was the idea. Now he's turning his back and letting Hit Girl shoot him in the back here. Hit Girl has the stronger formation, no doubt. But let's just see who turns off formation attack and gets this win. So now Hit Girl is moving up to support the cavalry on this flank. So overall, not looking too good for envotw here. His Praetorian Guard should be able to hold out for quite some time, but they are disadvantaged in that they have a slightly denser formation. Now it looks like Hit Girl is moving out to the flanks to support there. These Vigilates will get absolutely wrecked by the elephants. Now they are charging the elephants, which is just a bad idea any way you look at it. Still, it allowed the elephants of envotw to get into the fray, but the Vigilates just died, so that was wasted denarii. Praetorian Cavalry just standing around, and Equites getting charged by Soki Equites. Praetorian Cavalry fighting Soki Equites. Draco hasn't been popped yet, so they will not do as well as they would if they had Draco on. Over here we're having Praetorian Guard against Armored Legionnaires, and envotw has formation attack on, while Hit Girl has formation attack off. And you can see the difference. You can see Hit Girl's formation pushing into the formation of envotw. Over here as well, you can see it on the charge. When they are charging, these Praetorian Guard are stopping. Well, or do they both have formation attack on? It's kind of hard to tell, but we should see from the kills here. You know, both of them might have it on. And Hit Girl is using the whip on the charge, which might be a bad idea if his guys are his elephant survived over there. If his guys are getting exhausted quicker than envotw's units, then they might have a bad time, but as of now it doesn't look like it, and envotw is not really using his units effectively here. He's letting his cavalry get charged by infantry, which is never a good time, and over here he's losing the cavalry fight and losing massively in the center. So but I do think both players might be using formation attack here. Let's see an even matchup. Praetorian Guard against Praetorian Guard. Yeah, you know what? I think they are, because neither of them are really wrapping around, or... No, Hit Girl doesn't use formation attack. His units are wrapping around. And as you can see, it makes quite the difference in killing. Not a huge difference here. But usually it does. So Hit Girl's Praetorian Guard got charged by Praetorian Cavalry that are now running through the unit and dying horribly. So not a lot that envotw can do other than concede defeat and GG. So well played to both, congratulations to Hit Girl, and let's take a look at the builds. Here you can see the builds are not that different. No skirmishers for envotw. He brought some Vigilates, which I don't really understand that choice. But yeah. Next battle, coming right up. And they're both GGing. We'll see what factions they choose. I don't think this will go to the tiebreaker, but you never know. Alright, let's see. Now it's envotw's time to pick the faction. Wicked Pirate is going to spectate as well. So I'm going to turn on TeamSpeak and see if he wants to co-commentate, because that's always nice. Let's see here.
Connected.
So I'm going to be in Team 2 here. I see Harbus online as well, so he can join if he wants to bring his sexy voice to this live commentary. So envotw is thinking about which faction he will pick for the presumably last battle. If Hitgirls wins this, he advances to the next round, and envotw is out of the tournament. And envotw, or Hitgirl, is the host of this tournament, which doesn't really give any advantages, although you might think. So now we are going to see Porthia against Porthia. This could be good for envotw, because in a matchup of Porthia against Porthia, bring an elephant and don't bring too much infantry, skirmish to death. Still, it could be the mercenary veteran hoplines aren't too bad in a matchup of Porthia against Porthia. Still, I think IDE Hitgirl has the micro advantage in this game, which will be very important with Porthia against Porthia. So a bit of a surprising choice there for envotw, but I really hope he gets this win, so we get to see at least another battle. And he might just be rusty from not having played a lot, so maybe he just needs a bit of practice to see the game mechanics, because you will see it very clearly if you lose against a mirror faction and the same unit beats your unit. You know something's wrong. Like, you know you didn't get good charges off. You know maybe your formation was a bit too dense, a bit too thin. Maybe you picked the wrong units. Maybe formation attack was not turned off and stuff like that. So you can learn quite a lot by these mirror matchups, I think. Not so much if your opponent just counters the hell out of your army. If you pick a nomad faction and you come up against all hoplites and spears, like, what do you learn? You learn that spears beat horses. Unless, of course, we're talking about chariots, elephants, and cataphracts, because they absolutely rape spears, even from the front now. Elephants, not all the time, but if you're not in hoplite phalanx, you're going to have a bad time when elephants and chariots are coming running at you. And you're still going to have a pretty bad time if you have it on. You just have a slight chance of surviving. So the score is 2-1 for Hit Girl. We're going to see Parthia versus Parthia. And envotw needs to win this last battle, because if he doesn't, he is out of the tournament, and Hit Girl will advance to the next round. Oh, looks like envotw dropped here, or maybe I dropped. I don't know. So I'm just going to look for the game again. The name of the game was IDE Spectate. Do 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 do. Failed to join game, unspecified error. Thank you, Rome. Going to try that again. Maybe Hit Girl will have to re-host this. Here we go. Rome is very stable, as you can see. Don't know what happened there. Parthia against Parthia. We should see a lot of skirmishing. I would be quite interested to see how a Parthian new box with mainly hoplites and Persian hoplites could do against a skirmish heavy build, but probably not that good. So they are both ready. My daughter just came home. Jo da, jeg har sovet. Ja.
Nå har du ikke sovet.
Hvor har du vært, June? Ja. Pappa snakker til disse mennene. Oi. Nei, hva var det pappa fikk? Pez! Takk, June. Så god han var. Okay, so I just got a love heart from my daughter, which was very nice. Alright, so getting ready to start the third and presumably last game of this tournament. June, har du lyst til å være med og kommentere? Her, har du lyst til å være med og snakke om mennene? It looks like we have a co-commentator here. Now bear in mind she's 2 years old and she doesn't speak English. Okay, so June, ser du disse mennene her? Hva er det pappa skal gjøre med de mennene?
Ja.
Hva er det pappa skal gjøre med de mennene?
Sorry.
Ja. Kan June si engelsk? Everybody, yeah. So let's see here, she has a bit of stage fright, I guess, since there are all of 10 people watching this, which is understandable, but she is watching the game with me now, so maybe she'll be able to offer some expert commentary. Well, no, she is running away, which is quite understandable. This game is quite boring for 2-year-olds, I guess. So thanks for that co-commentary there. So this battle will decide who advances and who is out of the tournament. And from what we've seen so far, I think Hitgirl should take this as well, but Parthia can be a tricky faction. If, for example, envotw goes for infantry and cataphract spam, it could pose some problems for Hitgirl if he picks a very skirmish heavy build. Possibly. I don't really play a lot as Parthia, so I don't know the faction in and out. I've played quite a lot against Parthia, but the sound you can hear there is my dog, which is very happy at the moment. So, we are ready to go. And... Tack, Jonna. Okay, for Hitgirl we have mercenary hoplites on the flanks together with Parthian foot archers. We have a center of royal cataphracts backed up by Parthian foot archers. We have more Parthian foot archers on the flanks with Persian hoplites and eastern cataphracts and camel spears. Which means that this engagement that looks to be coming up here is going to go badly for envotw because of the morale penalty from the camels. envotw brought some camels, but he has them both on one flank. I don't understand why he would do that. He has eastern spearmen for infantry. He has a slight skirmishing advantage. However, I am just going to go ahead and say that this battle will go in Hitgirl's favor. You can probably see why from the builds. envotw doesn't have any staying power in his army, and although he has a slight infantry advantage, Hitgirl could just rush him and destroy his army really quickly. But it looks like he's going to try to do some skirmishing first. The eastern slingers here are firing, getting a few kills against these lightly armored Parthian foot archers, but now these Parthian foot archers are going to destroy these slingers. 7 kills in the first volley. Yep, they're doing quite a lot better. So here he's going to start this engagement, and actually he managed to catch the camel spears. It was camel spears. Why would you bring camel spears and not camel archers? Why? So this engagement is actually looking good for envotw here. If Hitgirl doesn't respond and send these hoplites in, then this flank is actually going to get won by envotw, and now it's going to be able to charge into the elephants with some cataphracts here. I don't know how effective that will be, but the elephants are getting surrounded. Over here is sacrificing some mercenary Sarmatian lancers to stall this advance here from Hitgirl. Hitgirl is losing some eastern cataphracts, but his elephants are doing quite well. envotw is disengaging and going in to stop these royal cataphracts, which is a good idea. However, Persian hoplites are moving in. They are the worst hoplites in the game, but still they are spears and they will be able to do some damage in this blob here. Royal cataphracts charging into the Indian war elephants of envotw, and now this engagement is looking a lot better for Hitgirl. He's going to be able to take this engagement, and since there is no cavalry moving in towards these skirmishers here, envotw is giving up a possible advantage that he could have. Now, the Indian war elephants of Hitgirl are routing, which could potentially be pretty huge, but I still think that Hitgirl has the advantage in this engagement over here. The Indian war elephants might come back from routing, and then that's that. What envotw? So here his camel archers are coming in and going to cause some fear to his to Hitgirl's royal cataphracts. So you can see his Persian hoplites are dying. But what I'm really lacking from envotw here is the ability to stay in the fight, to have some staying power. Now he's getting surrounded here, but his royal cataphracts are dying fairly quickly, as you can see. But still he's charging into the blob on this side, so this is just the battle of the blob. They're just pouring more and more units into this huge blob. But so far Hitgirl is getting the worst of this engagement. Eastern spearmen are rushing in here, and Persian hoplites are dying. envotw's elephants and cataphracts are now starting to waver. envotw really needs to take care of these skirmishers here, but it looks like he won't be able to. Camel archers are firing with, let's see what type of shot they are using. Now they're using precision shots, so they will be slowed down quite considerably. The elephants of envotw only got 60 kills, and they are now dying, so not very cost effective there. Hitgirl is going to lose his general, it looks like, to Eastern Spearmen and Royal Cataphracts, which is bad for Hitgirl. Hitgirl's elephants came back, so if envotw is not able to do something about that, they will be able to trash his units fairly good here. I really shouldn't try to make them run amok when they are surrounded by his own units here. Overall, this battle went a lot better or is going a lot better for envotw, but he made his own elephants run amok. He made Hitgirl's elephants run amok over here, but they died quickly after, so a bit of luck there. Now envotw should just charge into this blob from all sides and surround the cataphracts. They should die quite nicely here. I don't know what they're doing now. Now he's going to charge in on the side where he has his own men. But these royal cataphracts are getting surrounded and getting smashed. So it looks like I spoke a bit earlier here, and that we might see a last battle in we might see another battle in this matchup, because all that Hitgirl has left is these units over here, and envotw would really have to fuck it up to not be able to destroy these units. But as you can see, this battle, it just happened in a huge blob here, with just one unit after another going into the blob. And I think that envotw won this battle because he just kept sending more units in here, and IDE Hitgirl wasn't able to stop it in time. So he didn't support it as well either. So it was just a battle where one unit surrounds the other, until the blob just breaks apart. So even though I didn't think it looked too well for envotw, he did the right thing by bringing his camel archers over near the cavalry fight. And I think one of the things that lost Hitgirl this battle, or it's not over yet, but I think it's probably over. One of the things that lost Hitgirl this battle was that he brought camel spearmen instead of camel archers, so he wasn't able to cause the maximum amount of morale damage that he could have done in the cavalry fight. But three of envotw's units were wavering. It looks like another unit might rout here. They don't have the best morale in the world, these Parthian units, and when their general is dead, they rout fairly quickly. So envotw should win this quite easily, though, when he's getting these royal cataphracts into the fight and getting us around going. But Parthia, as you can see now, nothing is really happening here, and still these, well, they're being shot at, but the elite Persian archers are just routing all over the place. So if a chain rout happens, then Hitgirl might be able to salvage this, but it looks like he will be surrounded here fairly quickly. And there we go. These hoplites are going down. The skirmishers are dead. Now these mercenary hoplites are probably going to rout as well. And so I'm happy to be wrong sometimes. Because this battle turned out to be quite a weird battle, then envotw was able to pull it in, so well played. It was very nice to see him get a win. And patch 7 didn't do too much to Parthia other than make the skirmishers better. It's not like there's some special thing that you really have to know about like with the other factions. So really nice to see envotw get a win here, which means that we will get to see another battle. And here you can see the build. Eastern Spearmen with 108 kills. That's pretty crazy. envotw used his cataphracts to greater effect here, but overall fairly similar. I think going for Camel Spearmen instead of Camel Archers, huge mistake by Hitgirl. Camel Spearmen just don't have the staying power. So it looks like we might see Iceni versus Iceni. Yep, Iceni versus Iceni. So again, bring a chariot. And there's no formation attack to turn off here, so the big change with Iceni is that they got a big change, but the painted ones got a bonus against infantry, so they are slightly better. Still worse than the naked warriors and the berserkers, of course, but they might serve their purpose as a frontline shock unit. The problem is that they die like flies to cavalry and prolonged melee and to missiles, because they have 0 armor and 35 hit points, I think. So not too sturdy. Kind of a glass cannon unit, or more like a glass water pistol, because they're not really powerful. So if Hitgirl takes this, it will be 3-1 to Hitgirl. If he doesn't, then we will have a tiebreaker, where the winner will be decided by a mirror matchup of Egypt against Egypt. It isn't as powerful as it was in patch 6, still pretty good, but they're not since other elite swords are on par with the Galatian Royal Guard now. Egypt still has the versatility, but they lost some versatility due to pikes being complete and utter garbage. Now, I have seen some people argue that pikes are good in this patch as well, if you make a single line and you make the formation thick enough. If you're one of the people who think so, then that's just a sign that you aren't playing multiplayer. Because sure, that could work in single player, a thick pike block with the enemy army just running straight into the pikes and being able to get flanked. But there's a lot of things that work in single player that doesn't work at all in multiplayer. It's a completely different game when you have a human opponent controlling the units rather than having the AI. Some people say the AI can be more of a challenge than a human opponent. Well, a shitty human opponent is probably easier to play than the best AI, but overall, just a semi-decent player. It's a world of difference between playing against the AI and playing against the, well, just in terms of army selection and what you're coming up against and how they're able to respond to different things. The AI is stupid. It will be stupid in games for many years. It's not like chess where the numbers of moves that you can do are easily calculable and they are it's easy to predict the outcomes, because in a game like this you also have the random factor where it's basically dice rolling and randomness that decides if a unit does 4 damage or 40 damage. Even if you have 100 armor, you might still take the full damage from a really low level attack, you might, but the chance is smaller. However, it will happen. If you do it enough, it will happen. But still, you will have these averages that you make an average of that amount of damage against that amount of armor. Still, you will have large fluctuations in the amount of damage you do. So sometimes you do very little damage, sometimes you do a lot of damage. But over enough instances, it should balance out. Here we go again. They chose Nemetu Senna for the battle again, so we're going to be able to look at this bleached grass for a bit more. Look at the sky, it looks kind of sick, like yellowish sky. So if Hit Girl wins this, it will be GG. If envotw wins this, we will see a tiebreaker with Egypt against Egypt. I'm going to move away from their armies here, so they're not able to. They're probably not watching this stream anyway, but just to be fair. They might be listening to the stream though. Are you? Are you listening, Hit Girl? Are you listening, envotw? 12 viewers, that's a record for my newly started channel. So is everything okay with like the video quality and the sound quality, stuff like that? Because I really haven't tried a lot of different settings. I'm not too anal about it either, but I don't want any input on the commentary quality. So just keep that to yourselves. Have a very fragile ego. Looks and sounds good, okay. Good. Jorben and Tub Lover says everything's good, so I'll take your word for it. Yeah, commentary sucks, I know that. That's why I specifically asked to not get to not get any comments on the commentary. But anyone that wants to join me for these commentaries is more than welcome to do so, because it can be... Just kidding, yeah right, just saying that to make me feel better. It's a lot more fun to do this if you are more people. Yeah, I probably have less of a life than you do. So they are readying up, but they are not quite ready yet. So we'll see. Commentary fine by me. Well, that's nice to hear. Very good. I'm fairly new to trying to commentate others' games, so it's nice practice for me this, and I'm very happy to get feedback as well. Ready? Both are pressing ready, so here we go. I'm going to go over the builds of Hit Girl first. He's got a main line of 6 heroic nobles, painted ones up front, shock infantry, chosen spears in the back. On the flanks he has 4 units of heroic riders with his general and a unit of chariots. It looks like envotw has wisened up a bit here and he's putting some chariots in his center. Heroic riders, 6 units of those, so a slight cavalry advantage. Heroic nobles, 5 heroic nobles and 2 chosen spears. The infantry advantage goes to Hit Girl, while the cavalry advantage goes slightly in favor of envotw. It's a weird nick. Just forget it from time to time. So you can see just from the setups, Hit Girl has more of a strong flank and a strong center, while envotw is splitting up a bit more. That might be good, and that might be problematic. Like his general will be able to single out here, and as the barbarian faction, it's very important to keep your general alive for as long as possible. If your general dies, then you will get a massive morale hit, and none of the units have discipline. So here we go with the engagement. Here you will see painted ones going up against spear band. The spear band didn't get the charge. They might just be there to eat up the charge actually, because they're cheap. They are too expensive to be used at meal shields though. These painted ones are got 60 kills on the charge, which is huge. Now they're just going to waver. And over here in the center, same story. Heroic nobles being charged by painted ones. Painted ones got charged back, so they are losing quite a few men here. But they managed to do some damage. And here the chariots of Hit Girl are riding towards the cavalry engagement, and now they are rolling in here towards the center of the engagement, but they might get caught by these heroic riders. They got caught, and they're going to get caught here as well. So if Hit Girl doesn't move them, he will lose his chariots. envotw's chariots are just standing there, but Hit Girl lost 5 guys from his chariot unit, but they are managing to get into the rear of this engagement. Hit Girl's painted ones are dying. Hit Girl is able to swing around here with his cavalry. So let's see if he moves to support the infantry fight or supports the cavalry fight. He supports the cavalry fight, which will win him this flank. envotw is moving up to support. He still hasn't used his chariots, which potentially could be huge. I really don't know what these heroic riders are doing standing around. They need to get into the backs of these painted ones and heroic riders ASAP. Here the heroic riders of envotw are able to support the fight and charge in. Hit Girl put his general in these heroic riders, which are doing fairly well. Now envotw is losing on this flank quite decisively. And there we go with the rear charge that should have happened quite some time ago. The painted ones of Hit Girl are dying here. And Hit Girl's heroic nobles are dying in the center. I don't know why envotw hasn't started using his chariots. He needs to use the chariots before this fight over here is over. Just run them through here and cause massive casualties. Not using these chariots at all might lose envotw this game. Over here we're having some chosen spears going up against heroic nobles, which means that the chosen spears will die horribly. These Briton skirmishers will get taken care of by cavalry. If these chariots don't start killing right now, then it's not looking good for envotw. He really needs to make something happen with his chariots. The odds are massively against him. But because Hit Girl has heroic nobles left here, he's losing on this flank, but he has all this cavalry that is coming back to the fight. Has some chosen spears left, so I think this I know I said it before and I was wrong, but unless envotw is able to use these chariots to great effect against this infantry blob here, then this is just a GG. And I don't think, it doesn't look to me like envotw knows how to use these chariots. It looks like he wants to skirmish with the chariots, and that is just a disaster to try and skirmish with his chariots. And now he's charging heroic riders into heroic nobles, and he is very disadvantaged in this infantry fight here. He just needs to run the chariots through these units, keep them away from the cavalry, but it doesn't look like he will. Well, come on, just charge the fucking unit. Nope, well, is he going to do it? Yeah, he's going to charge. And he used the whip on the chariots, so now you can see the destructive potential of these chariots, which should have been used from the start. Now the chariots are going to be able to stop by this cavalry. These heroic nobles are dropping fast, but he stopped the chariots and he's not moving them. Why are you doing this? it's painful to watch. Sorry, but it's just very, very frustrating. Now I realize that this is a tournament game and there are a lot of things to consider and think about, but still, it's extremely frustrating to see players make mistakes like this. He's only got 41 kills on his chariots, and now he's going to lose the game because he didn't use his chariots at all. But hopefully envotw learned something about the horrible patch 7 during these games. If he uses chariots to their maximum potential, they can still actually turn the tide here. So I'm not going to call it too early. As you can see, the chariots are still rolling through here, but it looks like Hit Girl is calling GG. We'll see. If these chariots are used to their maximum effect, just keeping them away from this cavalry and going into the infantry, then this could go envotw's way, but it looks like he doesn't want to engage the infantry with these chariots, and that means he's going to lose them. These heroic riders, they are not scythe chariots. Scythe chariots are able to kill cavalry, but not so much with these Iceni chariots. Now he's going to run through these chosen spears, and if he continues to do this effectively, he might actually make something work here. But no, his chariots are, as you can see, they're getting kills really quickly over here now, but it's just too late. They got 104 kills. They could have gotten 4 times that number. But congratulations to Hit Girl. Good games overall. Well played by both players. As you can see here, the chariots of envotw did the most kills, but they really should have been used to greater effect a lot earlier than they did. I really think that cost envotw the game. But thank you for watching. Thanks to Hit Girl for hosting the tournament, and thanks to Hit Girl and envotw for allowing me to cast these 4 battles. And hopefully some of you people watching got a slightly better idea of how the competitive multiplayer looks now in patch 7. As you can see, it's quite different from what it was in patch 6, and if you don't keep up with the patch changes, you're probably screwed. Even if you play well, you are going to be, well, you can be out microed, you can be out picked in the factions, you can be out countered in the army composition, and you can be out patched. That's a new thing with Total War now. If your mindset is in a previous patch, you can be outpatched by your opponent. And I think envotw got a bit outpatched here, because he used a lot of his units like you would in patch 6 and not in patch 7. Hit Girl was able to use his units a bit more effectively. That isn't, of course, the whole explanation, but at least it's some of it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in another battle.